That's in reference to previous sessions where he says, when I'm in my resistance like this, I feel a sense of control. Okay?
You're just frozen.
He's not in control, he's frozen. And that's the critical thing when it comes to helping people turn against their defiance. In other words, defiance can only survive and maintain its hold as long as the patient is tuning out that it's hurting them more than anybody else. Okay? So it's imperative to help the defiant patient see that, yeah, sure, I don't like it, it's frustrating, I don't like to fail, but then I get on with it, I move on with my life. How would it be for you? This is your whole life as far as the eye can see, kind of a thing. This is all to undo the defiance. By the way, as a little factoid, Davenlu called Defiance a 5-star defense. And you can see it's so difficult to deal with it. It's a 5-star defense.
I guess there's no point in going into the feelings in the T because you got to deal with the defiance, eh?
Yeah, I've asked him how you feel toward. I've asked him a few times, but he's not budging.
Okay, yeah. So did he come in with that? Was that the beginning?
Yeah.
That was the beginning of the session. He came in like this.
Indeed.
The session grinds to a halt. Your life grinds to a halt. Progress stops.
Sigh. The other thing is that the self-destructive part of him, the superego, as we say, it would love it if I was over-functioning and working harder than he is. And so I'm going out of my way to not work harder than him. Because then he could just sit back and enjoy seeing me work hard. Right? So it's so important not to work harder than your patient. Okay?
Another question. How would that... You would never ask the question, what do you want here today? Then you're silent, what do you want to do here today? Just
that might have been good.
Wait.
Yeah, that might have been good. Yeah, maybe. At this point in the treatment, we all know what he wants. It's clear, totally clear what our purpose is together. We're here to free him. But I think I did say, did you really come here to stonewall me and sabotage our efforts? Is that why you're here? Of course not, right? The silence, by the way, is another form of pressure. So me being silent, it's communicating to him, this is all up to you. I can't do this for you. Okay? And you can see there's all this striated activation. So I think where we need to be. Look at his hands. You see that rhythmic striated ringing of the hands? Big, deep sigh. We're in the right neighborhood. Right? This is where we need to be. And I have to fight my temptation to pressure him, to try to fix him, to try to help him to get through this. That's what I want to do because I like to fix people. But it wouldn't help. It would just be me over-functioning and working harder than him. And so I have to work hard and not working harder than him. Okay? Okay, the other thing that the silence is conveying to him. Remember a couple of minutes ago when I said to him, the session is grinding to a halt. Okay? He needs to experience that. If I were to just keep talking, it's the session isn't really grinding to a halt. So he actually, if I say the session is grinding to a halt, he needs to feel that. Otherwise, my words don't mean anything. Okay? And by the way, it's uncomfortable for me too. Just sitting there in silence, it's not fun. But
it's uncomfortable to watch.
Right. Yeah, you're in for a treat here. My silence is also undoing the omnipotent transference resistance. The notion that somehow he doesn't have to do his part and I can magically fix him. By being silent, I'm letting him know, no, I can't fix you. You have to do this. Sigh.
I'm keeping my powder dry until you're ready to engage. both know there's nothing I can say.
So what did you say there?
What?
I said, I'm keeping my powder dry and saving my energy until you're ready to engage. We both know there's nothing I can say that's going to make a difference when you're like this. And he said, yes, you're right. Like, I'm not going to exhaust myself and work harder than him. My job is to continuously undo the omnipotence, the idea that I can fix him.
It's really inspiring how every sentence you say is practically your head operation, part of the head operation.
Yeah.
And it's delivered with complete calmness.
Thank you a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, if you would have been pissed off, that would be totally ineffective because he would have got the sense that he was able to punish you.
Yeah, exactly. His super ego would love that. And
Yeah.
so, exactly. But I mean, it's rough for me. I don't like sitting there in silence. But, you know.
I can, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
But I'm not going anywhere. So undoing this, the sense that I would be another abandoning figure unless he does what I want him to do. I'm not going to abandon him just because he's not making progress. But we're not making progress. Let's be honest about that.
It's just that nothing I say or do can be helpful when the wall is there.
Look at him. You can see it's slowly sinking in that this is a wasted opportunity, right? Sinking in deeper and deeper, that the session has ground to a halt.
The clock is almost symbolic.
Yes,
The clock is ticking, right? It's almost symbolic. It's magical. I don't know.
exactly. It's what I said to him.
Yeah.
The session is passing by. Your life is passing by. Tick, tick, tick. You're right. Great comment. And then you see the smirk? That's the embodiment of defiance. Part of me wants to say nothing and then the smirk. So this is defiance incarnated right here.
Well, maybe you're not ready yet to give this up. It's part of you. You're getting some sadistic satisfaction from defeating me. I get the 1% of the pain and you get 99% of it. That might still be worth it to you. I don't know which way you're going to go.
Not giving him anything to defy. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe it's worth it to you. Like if I were to take the side of, no, you really need to let this go, he'll just defy that. So that's the other thing with dealing with defiance. You don't give him anything to defy. Okay?
But I'm here.
See how my silence is yielding sighs. You see what I mean by rough? Like this is rough. This is not fun. But there's nothing I can do.
Johannes, can I say something?
Certainly.
It's interesting. I have a sense, I wonder if that's true, that this might be some of the most mobilized we've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a question if it's coming, if it will come out or not. But he's super mobilized. Like, for me, this is super interesting to watch right now.
Oh, thank you.
Because he's so activated.
Yes, right.
Whether you're talking or silent, he's like you're really in it together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
Yeah.
you're right. Thank you for making that comment. I really appreciate it. Yep, I agree with you. Great.
It's a real stubborn wall, hey? Holy moly.
I know. It's like defiance incarnated.
It really is.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. So this is great to look at how to deal with defiance.
Still, there's this frozen quality to you.
Notice that when I asked him if he wanted to face this and work it through, he went like this. So his body said yes, meaning the unconscious therapeutic alliance, right, saying yes, but he didn't actually say the words. Right? It's just very telling. It's like it represents everything we're seeing. The unconscious therapeutic alliance is very activated, working hard. He's working hard, but then the defiance is like hell freezes over before he's going to actually utter the words. Okay?
In there.
Yeah. The breathing is labored.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's labored breathing. And so I like your, thank you. I can't pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. Joe, thank you for that. I think your hypothesis is probably more accurate than mine. But we'll see. Let's see where it goes.
It's sitting on you like a parasite. Let's see what you do about that.
So it's sitting on you like a parasite, making clear that we understand, both of us, that it's not him. It's the resistance. So I'm differentiating him from the resistance here again, and that's important. And calling it a parasite is like talking down to it, showing it disrespect, the way Davinu would recommend.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that actually. This, so I guess that's a technique, but I kept noticing it almost is like taunting or kind of like a little bullying almost, or like,
yeah.
Which confused me, but
yes.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. But the critical thing, Rocky, is to make sure that he knows that it's towards the resistance and not towards him. Okay? So, Rocky, what Davinu said is you have total respect for the patient, but total disrespect for the resistance.
Okay. And how does he know that that's how you have it?
Well, the conscious therapeutic alliance is in place. You know, the way. Remember how in the initial 3-hour session when I said, this is me establishing myself as a figure that he would want to open up to? So he has to have that sense that I'm really in his corner. He has to really see that his defenses are a destructive force in his life, and that I'm trying to help him win the battle against the defenses. Okay?
A couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
One is to this question, that it's like the way you, after each intervention, you're giving space to this response, right? So that's part of what makes it, it's a ping pong, right? You're throwing him. If you were attacking him rather than supporting him, you'd just be going and going, and we'll see him kind of disappearing more and more, becoming black, right? Which can,
Yeah, I like that.
But you're throwing balls and then you're giving him space.
Yeah.
And choosing what to do next.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that this moment where he nods but doesn't say yes, right? So I have this sense that if he would say yes prematurely, because he cognitively knows, right? But if he said it before it really felt right to him, he would actually demobilize himself, and that would hurt your cooperation. And so he doesn't actually have a choice or anything else than to be exactly there in the conflict that he is. Like in a certain sense, he also cannot decide. He can only sit there and be in that conflict and see it clearer and clearer until maybe at some point the genuine yes comes.
No, okay,
yes.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool perspective. Really, really neat. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
I agree, because if he would have say yes verbally, maybe would have complied. But the compliance is ego-dystonic, so he really knows that the more authentic way is to present as a person in conflict, that non-verbally is not saying anything, one pole of the conflict, and there are verbal and non-verbal in conflict. That's the genuine showing up without compliance.
Yeah, you're so right about that. Like, this is where he is right now, at this moment in time. Yeah, both of your comments are so wonderful. Thank you. Really, really enjoy it. Okay.
I have another question. Sometimes we do address agency, but now I kind of got confused when yes and when no, because I can see why you would say this is like a parasite on you, but sometimes you do address agency, you cripple yourself with that. I mean, how you just change it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I could have said you move to this paralyzed, crippled position, and that would address the agency part. But But what I said about the parasite is just to, again, make it really clear that he and the resistance are not one and the same.
So you change, you can use this one or the other one, just whatever.
Yeah, interchangeably.
Depending on the rise.
Depending on what seems to be needed at the moment. Uh-huh. Yeah, good question. Good. Yeah. That could have been a miss on my part, pointing out, so now you're discharging anxiety with labored breathing. Maybe, if that's the case, that could have been a miss.
Well,
Here,
go ahead.
no, please.
Well, I mean, at the same time, he's holding it together, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in the fight. He's in the fight. Mm-hmm.
To me, the breathing doesn't feel dysregulated. Like, it actually reminds me of a kind of fire breath, like yogic fire breath. But it's like, in a positive sense, like it really feels like a strong, energetic flow going through him.
Yeah,
and his body language is the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really energetic.
Right. I mean, so this is really interesting. So it's, the question is it a defense? Is he discharging anxiety, like our friend from Portugal was suggesting? Or is it what you're saying and what I initially thought, which is that this is how he's mobilizing himself to really stay in the fight? And one data point that points to the fact that maybe you're right, Elad, is that if he was really into trying to discharge anxiety at this moment, the best way to do that is to sprawl out on the couch, okay, and let the pressure deflate, right, from the comfort of the couch. But he's sitting straight up, okay? So that's one thing to consider.
I'm also using the counter-transference. Both mine and maybe we can say the groups.
Yeah, the
like
collective unconscious.
Getting engaged with him. And it seems like the whole. I'm not seeing anybody right now, but there are a lot of comments coming. Like it seems like he's engaging us, right? And a person who's kind of sitting and tensing a lot in just in a dysregulated way would make us all feel that. Like, I mean, catch it. I think we'll sit here and just kind of feel, oh no, when is this going to end?
How would you, if this would be the end of the session, how would you wrap up such a session? I would feel very uncomfortable ending the session like that. But that's why counter-transference, right? So
Yeah.
How would you do that?
Well, Michael, I would say, today the wall was here. Now the session is over, and we'll see where you are next week.
Okay, that's simple.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. So, all right. Wow.
So I think maybe there, if you would go slower with your encouragement there, you could delve in even deeper.
I love the diversity of perspectives here. Thank you, Marianne and Elad. This is wonderful. Thank you so much. Definitely gives me a lot to think about. And in terms of the question about anxiety and breathing, if we watch a little more, hopefully we'll get clarity, huh?
Yeah, and I just want to add that I noticed that he started rocking a little bit there.
Yes, this is true.
And
maybe the guilt emerging, that there's anxiety connected with the guilt, maybe not with the rage.
I love it. None of us really know for sure. We'll just have to see what happens. There might be something going on. Let's take a look. I wanted it. He's relishing in the satisfaction of his sadistic impulse.
Yeah, the smile is the sadistic smile.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we get underneath that defiance, there's the sadism, and it needs to be experienced and worked out.
Okay.
Excellent. So that's full circle back to what I mentioned at the very beginning about character change. The first thing I mentioned was the foundation needed for pressure and challenge. With him, that involved an experiential differentiation on the triangle of conflict, and the conscious therapeutic alliance, that he really declared that he wants to let go of the wall. So that foundation, and then character change. So all these feelings that he was working through, that's what leads to character change. That's what he couldn't face as a kid. And then, like Salvatore was saying, consolidating that, putting it all into perspective. Otherwise, it's like, here's this experience that rattles you, and it's wild, but the person needs a way of making sense of it and putting it in order and and getting perspective. That's the analysis of the transference. And like you were saying, without that, the therapeutic benefits don't get cemented into place.
Yeah. Can you do, if you forgot or you miss some connection in one session, if you do the consolidation the later session, you have firstly to roll up emotions again, or you can do at the beginning of the session? What do you think?
It's a great question. I tend to go with got to get more breakthrough of feeling. I mean, if you think of the consolidation as like the surgeon has just made an incision and cut out the cancer, and then you have to sew together the wound, right? That's the consolidation phase. And so a week later, you're better off tearing the scab off and getting more feeling out, so you can sew it together more properly.
I see. Okay, so you warm up everything again, and then you add the piece of consolidation that you think. Okay.
That's my inclination, you know.
Yes.
Great questions, great comments.
So Johannes is a special way of teaching where it kind of, it resides in you, and if you ask him, he kind of has you take the lead, but if you ask him, he'll always answer the question, but there's always intention behind everything that he does, including us watching that video for 19, 20 minutes of silence. Like, he always has intention, there's always madness, there's always, what do you call it, method to his madness,
there
right?
You go.
You're satisfied for this workshop, and I'm really impressed by your ability of keeping the rise high all the time. Like, the rise, it was always high.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I really loved your questions and comments. It was beautiful. Thank you. All right, till next time.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.